This book of mine that was published this summer, and its origins actually go back to a seminar that I did here maybe 2 years ago. Some of you might remember. Maybe it was 2.5 years ago. A seminar on trying to locate the real subject of one's writing. And I actually passed out a bunch of very chaotic, incoherent notes of an essay that I was working on. And I said, see, I don't know what I'm doing here at all. How do we figure out what is the real subject when we're just lost in all of these details? And what came out of those notes and that seminar is the essay that I want to read this evening. It's a short one. It's called Worms, subtitled The Persistence of Habits. And what finally helped me to get all of that chaotic material to cohere a little bit was an epigraph. And this is the epigraph. It's a Chinese proverb. Habits are cobwebs at first, cables at last. And I loved the ambiguity of that, the whole question of whether our habits are things that steady us or confine us. Do they liberate us or do they inhibit us? And I think that proverb suggests that they could be either. So this is entitled Worms. Sometimes the beach seems too damp and soft for the spare kind of thinking I'm trying to do these days, too full of forgiveness, too yielding. Wouldn't Vesuvius be a better site to study the rough edges and frictions against which our sensibilities are honed? Our response to catastrophe, I've often thought, is more revealing than our habits, though today I'm not so sure. Meanwhile, I'm back on Cape Ann, Massachusetts, where the rocks are submerged and then bared and the seaweed lies parched and then drenched. On the north end of the beach, 3 painters squint at the hull of a wrecked fishing boat that twice daily disappears and reappears at the edge of the harbor. Further out, a white sail grows smaller. Looking east out over the ocean, I remember reading once about a worm which streaks the sands of Normandy with green. At first glance, the description suggests you think of algae smears or some delicate seaweed strewn in slathers. But if you watch them from above the high tide line, you'd notice that the receding tide doesn't deposit the green stuff, that in fact it seems to emerge from under the sand once the water has withdrawn. And if you approached, leaned down, and looked closely, you'd see that the green swaths are not gunks of algae or seaweed at all, but millions of tiny spinach-colored flatworms that have wriggled up from under the sand to sunbathe between tides. Twice a day they squirm to the surface to bask, and they never mistime their emergence, never rise too soon or too late into a surf that would drown them in an instant. The worms themselves don't need the sun, but the creatures inside them do, and they keep the worm alive.